President also defending Elon Musk, who is pushing forward with plans to shrink the size of the federal government amid a series of lawsuits.
But Vice President J.D. Vance suggested the courts can't hold Trump back either, posting on social media. Judges aren't allowed to control the executive's legitimate power. President Trump agrees.
No judge should frankly be allowed to make that kind of a decision. It's a disgrace.
The question now, will the Trump administration do as the courts have ordered or defy them?
An update in that developing story of an Elon Musk-led group reportedly making a $97.4 billion bid to control OpenAI. That's according to a report from the Wall Street Journal. OpenAI Sam Altman has now responded in a tweet saying, "No, thank you, but we will buy Twitter for $9.74 billion if you want."
And we're just going to try to build the best technology we can and get it into people's hands. And I think that's mostly going pretty well.
Do you think Musk's approach then is from a position of insecurity about XAI?
Probably his whole life is from a position of insecurity. I feel for the guy.
You feel for him?
I do, actually. I don't think he's a happy person. I do feel for him.
Tulsi Gabbard took the oath Wednesday to become America's next director of national intelligence. The Senate ultimately confirmed her nomination with 52 GOP senators voting in favor. Only one Republican, Senator Mitch McConnell, voted with all 47 Democrats in opposition.
If all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out.
Right now, let's go to the U.S., where Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been confirmed as Secretary of Health and Human Services. The 71-year-old secured the nomination by a Senate vote of 52 to 48.
There are 53 Republicans. Only one Republican broke ranks and voted with all the Democrats, the 48 Democrats in the U.S. Senate. That was Mitch McConnell, the senator from Kentucky, formerly a Republican leader in the U.S. Senate. He said that Kennedy had a record of trafficking in dangerous conspiracy theories and eroding trust in public health institutions.
Stunning developments here in New York City, where the acting U.S. attorney for the Southern District, that's Danielle Sassoon, has resigned. And it comes days after her office was instructed by the Justice Department to drop corruption charges against Mayor Eric Adams. Now, in her resignation letter, Sassoon said, quote, "I remain baffled by the rushed and superficial process by which this decision was reached." She also alleges Adams's attorneys recently offered the Justice Department a quid pro quo. And that is, if the feds drop the case, Adams would help the Trump administration with immigration enforcement.
Here at home, the Trump administration sending shockwaves through the federal workforce. Thousands of workers who handle everything from managing federal lands to caring for military veterans have been fired. At least 2,000 workers were let go from the Department of Energy, more than 1,000 from Veteran Affairs, and another 1,000 from the Centers for Disease Control. And the agency in charge of our nuclear stockpile had roughly 300 employees fired yesterday, only to be told just a short time later they weren't all being fired after all. Now, ABC has learned that roughly 15,000 IRS employees have been identified for possible termination as early as next week.
Who simply don't like the idea that somebody with an alternative viewpoint might express a different opinion or, God forbid, vote a different way, or even worse, win an election.
He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
Has she?